Dear students, welcome again. So the last lecture, the first part of simplex method I solved, and I told you that you further solve for the S1, S3 and S4, new S1, new S3, new S4 equations. As I solved for the new pivot equation and new Z equation. So hopefully you all must have practiced and solved those one. Even then, if you haven't, the formula you people have. Now these new values will be into the new table now. Again you have to redevelop the table. So same basic, then all the variable solution, new Z equation. Now Z is there, so new values of Z is I found, so these will be part of your new Z equation. Similarly, I have found the new values of S1, S3, S4. Why not S2? Because S2 was the leaving variable. Leaving variable, that's why we will not find out the new values of the leaving variable. Rather, XE was the entering. That means in place of S2, XE will enter. So XE has been entered over here. Now from where the values of XE will come? Very simple one. Previously the new pivot equation values, जो न्यू पिवट इक्वेशन की वैल्यूज थी वो आपको XE को एंटरिंग वेरिएबल को वैल्यूज दे देनी है. सो दीज वर द वैल्यूज ऑफ आवर न्यू पिवट इक्वेशन जो हमने यहाँ XE को दे दिए हैं. सो दिस इज योर न्यू टेबल. नाउ this process is called iterative simplex method. Iterative means over and over the same procedure is to be repeated. How long it should be repeated? The question is how long this process should be repeated. There is simple way to reach at the optimum solution or to the final table. Is this problem of simplex method was or is of maximization. So as long as there is any negative value in Z equation, among all these, if there is any negative value in Z equation, we will continue this process. We will stop this process when all values will become 0 or positive in Z equation. So looking at this one, still we have one negative value in Z equation, that is minus 1 over 2 under xi. That means now this time our entering column will be this one. This is your entering column, EC. This is your entering column. Okay. Now I told you to decide about the leaving variable. So it is solution divided by entering column. That means 2 divided by 3 upon 2. 2 divided by 3 over 2 will become equal to into 2 over 3 is equal to 4 over 3 or 1.33 it will be. It will be 1.33. Similarly, 4 divided by 1 over 2. 4 divided by 1 over 2, it will become equal to 4 into 2 is equal to 8. Then 5 divided by entering column, 5 divided by 3 over 2 is equal to 5 into 2 over 3, 10 over 3 or 3.33. And then last one is 2 divided by 1, so it will be 2. Now I told you the minimum ratio of solution to entering column will be the leaving variable. So looking at this one, 2, 3.338 or 1.33. The smallest ratio is 1.33. That means this time our leaving variable will be S1. this is your leaving variable, because the smallest ratio. Similar again, this must be your pivot element. This must be your pivot element, because I told you pivot element is the intersection of entering column and leaving variable. Entering column and leaving variable. So this is your pivot element. Now again you have to find out the new pivot equation and new equations. Okay, new z, we will not find new s1, we will find new xe, new s3, new s4. The formula already I have given you. Before finding out the new z, new xe, new s3, new s4, we need to find out the new pivot equation first. So the formula you know, old pivot equation. Which one is the old pivot equation? The leaving variable equation is your old pivot equation, divided by pivot element, that is 3/2. This is your pivot element. So each element of leaving variable, that is S1 equation, will be divided by pivot element, that is 3/2. So this will be your new pivot equation, and then we have to find out the new z equation, new xe, new s3, new s4. By the formula I have already given you, that new z equation is equal to old z equation minus its entering column coefficient multiplied by new pivot equation. So for your convenience, I am just solving your new pivot equation and new z equation. So just hold on please. So new pivot equation, old pivot equation 0, that is we have already, okay, 3/2, 0 divided by 3/2, ultimately it will be 0. 3/2 divided by 3/2, it will be 1. 1 divided by 3/2, it will be 2/3. Minus 1/2 divided by 3/2, 2 gets cancelled, so it will be minus 1/3. This will be 0, this will be 0. 2 divided by 3/2, it will be 4/3. So these are the values of your new pivot equation. Similarly, now we will find out the new values of z equation. So old z equation, old z is this one, 0 minus 1/2, 0, 3/2, 0, 0, 12. Okay, now minus its entering, z's entering column, that is minus 1/2. So minus minus, it will be plus 1/2. Now plus 1/2 multiplied by new pivot equation. So 1/2 into 0, 0, 1/2 into 1, 1/2, 1/2 into 1/2 into 2/3, 2 gets cancelled, 1/3, 1/2 into minus 1/3, it will be minus 1/6, 0, 0, so 2 zeros. Now 1/2 into 4/3, 2 gets cancelled, so it will be 2/3 of positive. Now simplify, this will be 0, this will be 0, this will be 1/3, 3/2 minus 1/6, it will be 4/3, 0, 0, 12 plus 2/3 will be 38/3. So this is how you are finding out the new z equation. Similarly, you have to find out the new xe, new s3, new s4 with this formula. With this formula, finding out these one, you will put again, develop a new table. So your new table will be look like now this one. So this will be your new table. After finding out the new values for z, new xe, new s3, new s4 equations, and then in place of, s1, not s1 here, because xi was the entering column. So here it will be xi. Xi will get the values of new pivot equation. In the for the previous table, the new pivot equation you have found, those will be the values of your xi. So this is your new table. Now, the second iteration we have completed. Now let's have a look. Is there any negative value in the z equation? There is no any negative value in the z equation. All are positive or 0. Yes, this one 0, 0 plus 1 upon 3 plus 4 over 3, 0, 0 plus 38 over 3. So all are positive. That means this we say we have reached at optimum solution. We have reached at the optimum solution. Okay. Now keep in mind what we have to do next. Still the problem is not finished. We need to verify. We need the verification. Is we have done the verification in the graphical method. Same over here we have to perform the verification to justify whether this solution is okay or not. So verification, before going to the verification, note down this thing, z equals to, what is the z's solution value? 38 over 3. Okay. xi, what is its solution value? 4 over 3. What is xe? Its solution value is 10 over 3. Even you can write down the values of S3 and S4 if you want, but there is no need, because we are just working with the we need the values of the decision variable. That's why it is more than enough. But even if you want to take the values of S3 as is equal to 3 solution value, S4 solution value is 2 over 3. You can, no issue at all, but it will be useless if you are taking these values. So now keep these values with yourself, that z is equal to 38 over 3, xi is equal to 4 over 3, xe equals to 10 over 3. Let's perform the verification, justifying our solution whether this is right or wrong. So we are just going through to the verification process. So here is the process. I have just written z is equal to 38 over 3, xi is equal to 4 over 3, xe is equal to 10 over 3. So first of all, our objective equation was z is equal to 3xe plus 2xi. Now z is there, 3, xe, the value of xe is 10 over 3, plus 2 into xi, the value of xi is 4 over 3. This 3 gets cancelled. Z is equal to 10 plus 8 over 3. So z equals to 3 10 the 30 plus 8 over 3. Z equals to 38 over 3. See, z is exactly the same which we have actually found via calculations. So z is verified. Similarly, we'll go with the each of the constraint. So the first constraint was xe plus 2xi is less than or equal to 6. So remember, our first constraint was this one. So xe, the value of xe is 10 over 3 plus 2 into xi. Xi value is 4 over 3 is less than or equal to 6. 10 over 3 plus 2 for the 8 over 3 is less than or equal to 6. It will be 10 plus 8 is less than or equal to 6. 10 plus 8, 18 over 3 is less than or equal to 6. 3 1 the 3 6 the 6 is less than or equal to 6. Constraint number 1 has been satisfied. Similarly, you will go for constraint number 2, constraint number 3, constraint number 4, and all will be satisfied. So this is the end of your problem. Once your all constraints have been satisfied, that means the problem is okay. If we are making any mistake in calculations in our previous tables, ultimately the verification could not be made. Verification could not be made. So you have to revise, that means. That's why be careful Once you are going through to the tabular calculations, be vigilant, keep calm, and keep your patience. Once you are reaching at the end and the verification cannot be made, ultimately the all efforts will be of no use. Your solution will be null and void. That's why it is better to be vigilant at the each and every step. So hence, if you can see that the problem we solve via graphical method or even with a simplex method, the solution, the values are same. If you see over there in graphical, it was 1.33, it was 3.33. That means interior paint must be produced 1.33 tons per day and exterior paint must be produced 3.33 tons per day in order to achieve this maximum gross income per day. This was already we have discussed. Already I have given you the way of conclusion in the graphical method. The same conclusion, the same wording you have to write down in the simplex method to justify your answer. So this is what is the end of your simplex method. This simplex method I have just given you the introduction with the two variables, whereas I told you simplex method is suitable whenever we have more than two variables. So hope this is the smallest possible solution. You have got the idea clear. If still any confusion or any problems you have, we will meet in our live session on MS Teams, and you can write down your question, note down your questions. You better ask the questions. I will clarify each and every your confusion, and then I'll give you the solution of simplex method with more than two variables. Next will be same simplex method, but if we have more than two variables. So this is the end of this lecture. Hope it will be clear, and when you will come into the live session, you will be with the confusions. If you have any, I'll be there to address your issues. Till then, take care. Goodbye.